Panthers fans, we freaking did it. We won Game 7 tonight in Boston in overtime. Holy crap. Holy shit. This was honestly one of the... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm still trying to catch my breath. I was screaming. I was heavy breathing after we actually scored that overtime goal. I thought for sure that we were screwed and we were going to lose this series. I thought for sure it was over. But we just pulled, just like the Miami Heat did in the NBA. We just pulled one of the biggest NHL upsets in NHL history. Boston Bruins with 65 wins with just 12 losses and 5 overtime loss, with approximately 135 points in the regular season. We did the unthinkable. We came back from 3-1 deficit to win it tonight in Boston and move on to the second round against Toronto. Toronto wanted us. You got us. How do we do it? Let's talk about it. All right. First off, in this first period, we had a power play goal with Brandon Montour, which was a nice assist by Sergei Bobrovsky, our goalie. And that puck snuck through from the left side of a different goalie, who is the different goalie of this game for Boston. It was not Ullmark. It was Swayman. So they made a little goalie switch. And Boston was a little bit close, but so were we in the first period. But when we got our first power play goal, it was pretty good. The problem with us is we still have a power play problem. Not only the power play problem, but we have a penalty kill problem. Most of the goals from Boston are power play goals, so we were not good at penalty kills. It was if we gave up a penalty, it's automatic, essentially, theoretically speaking. Early in the second period, Sam Reinhart scores, makes it 2-0 Florida. And it looked to me in this game, Florida was playing very calm, very collective, while Boston was playing desperate and had some pressure into themselves. So as the defense was trying to get something going, there was a penalty, and it was a roughing call. And the roughing call wasn't a high stick or anything, but Krejci was the one who scored a power play goal late in that power play. We could have had that save, but it did not. It wasn't meant to be. Then the end of the second period, this might be the worst call I've ever seen in my life. Pastrnak is essentially the LeBron James of the Boston Bruins NHL. Because here's what happened. Montour had a high stick, and it didn't even hit him in the face, or what they call a roughing call. Nothing hit Pastrnak up in the head area, and yet Pastrnak flopped and did this and went on the ground on the ice. That is what we call embellishment. If you could have had the penalty on Montour, then you could have had the penalty on Pastrnak for embellishment. But it didn't happen. He clearly embellished. It was a bad call, and it came to haunt us a little bit after the third period started, because Bertuzzi ends up scoring the power play goal. Little bit after, Kachuk runs through the net. And there was also a situation where Sam Bennett actually got robbed or cross-checked by the Dolphin defender. He did. And guess what? There's no penalty call. There There was nothing. After Kachuk runs through the goal net, guess who scored next? There was a rebound from Bobrovsky's save. It was the embellisher, David Pastrnak, who scores what I thought was the game-winning goal. We had nothing, not even the power play, because the power play, Boston killed it off very easily. And knowing us, we even take the penalty, we would be in serious trouble. So, late in the third period, we had to pull Bobrovsky off the net, which would mean we have a 6 forward. Now, remember this. We barely have any defensemen in our lineup. Not Stoll, just the Stoll brothers. Montour is a defenseman. Aaron Ekblad is one of the defensemen. Bennett. Actually, Bennett's a forward, but Ekblad, who was kind of a liability in this Boston series. If there's one player that we needed so badly to be clutch, it was Matthew Tkachuk. But someone else came in clutch. And he actually got a second goal, and it was a game-tying goal. And it was Brandon Montour. Montour scores the second goal of the game, and it was a game-tying goal that puts the game 3-3. And just like that, we head to overtime. Next up, overtime. Boston had the momentum. They had a good defensive momentum, and the shots almost went through the back of the net, but Bobrovsky makes that save to cover it up. Then later on in the period, there was a situation where in the middle of the ice, where Florida just couldn't get to the Boston zone. Boston had a good defensive line. That's a struggle that Florida doesn't have. We don't have a good defensive line. So then eventually we had a face-off win, and then we had a puck going towards the behind the net. Tkachuk almost scored. Monty actually almost scored. But somebody else eventually did. It wasn't Pastrnak, thank God. It was not Marchand, thank goodness. He didn't even have a point today, Marchand. Or Tkachuk didn't have a point either. Neither did Barkov. Barkov didn't score either. Loseranian didn't score. Some of them were close. There was a deja vu from last season's overtime winner against the Capitals, much like what happened tonight. Behind the net, there was a pass to the right side. There was a shoot. Overtime winner. It was Carter Verhaeghe again, twice in a row. First time in franchise history, and 2 years in a row, we won the first round in overtime, scored by Carter Verhaeghe. And for the first time in franchise history, we advanced to the second round in back-to-back years. And guess what? We beat the President's Cup trophy winners. To think, we were the President's Trophy winners last season. And this year we beat the President's Trophy winner in the playoffs. And to think that we survived and have a longer season than the Tampa Bay Lightning did this season. We were down 3-1 in the playoff series. We lost game 1. We won game 2. We lost games 3 and 4 at home. And at that time, I was thinking we were delaying the inevitable after game 5. We won game 5 in overtime. Scored by Matthew Tkachuk. So I was like, okay, we delayed the inevitable. Game 6 was crazy, but we pulled through from the Sam Reinhart bounce off the wall goal. And we tied the series, which was one of the best games of the year. I'm still standing by what I said. To this moment right here, we didn't just delay the inevitable, But we delayed the inevitable for another series because our season continues, and it continues in the biggest way possible in the NHL history. One of the first teams in Florida franchise history to come back on a 3-1 deficit. All this time, much like the Florida Panthers fans throughout the regular season, we were criticizing Paul Maurice and his formation and his lineups. We were criticizing him, and he brought us back. He brought us back from the dead, beating Boston Bruins and having us advance to the second round to play the Toronto Maple Leafs, who finally ended their curse. Congratulations, Toronto. Not only they did that, they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's the big step. Now, much of the Toronto Maple Leafs fans were chanting, "We want Florida. We want Florida. We want Florida." You wanted us, Toronto? You got us. And we're coming to beat you in the Series 2 to advance to the conference finals for the first time in 27 years. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have liked this video, hit the like button, subscribe for content. Go Panthers! Because Miami TVG has your back. And when he does, he'll be right there with your fair entertainment you deserve. Go Panthers! And I'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody. And we will sure have a good night's sleep knowing we beat the impossible.